Great, thanks, Alex. First of all, thanks for showing up. I think this is one of the larger audiences we've had in the, since I've been here over the last 4 or 5 years in terms of Media Day. So thanks for coming out and partaking in the event, and hopefully we can give you some information that you didn't already know. And as I always say, if there's something we don't have an answer for, Mark and myself and Robert are sure to make it up as we go along. So thanks for being here. But in general, I just wanted to, kind of, I don't want to say summarize, but give some remarks in terms of what, I expect, and I think what our front office expects and our team's expecting for the season. Every off season is always a chore in terms of restocking the roster and generating some buzz around those players that we restock it with. And I think this year or this off season was no different in terms of the number of bodies that we brought in. But I think the difference might be this year. I think the quality is overall with these new additions better than maybe what we've had in the past. With that being said, I think the expectation, certainly internally, is that we're going to be a better squad, more competitive squad, and a team that is competing for the championship at the end of the year. And I'm not trying to put extra pressure on any individuals or anybody else. I think that's just the general expectation from within. So I just wanted to kind of, let you folks know that we have high expectations for this group. In general, that's kind of how we feel. I think getting out of preseason or heading into preseason and getting through half of it, and then obviously wrapping up preseason, I think a lot of that is starting to come to fruition. I think the results that we had early on, the way we played, how we addressed the game, and some of those new additions, I think are proving to be some pretty good signings. Obviously, it's a long year. We have to take it as it comes, but I think, from what we saw there, I think we're on the right track. I think as a whole, our club is hitting on all cylinders right now in terms of the first team with those signings, with the players that were coming back from last year, with some of the homegrown additions that we've put onto our roster. And I think we're at 6 total now, which is probably near the top in terms of the league. And really what our youth system is producing and what they're doing below us. So all those things together, I think the bar's been raised, the expectation is high, and we're excited in general for the kickoff of this new season.
We'll throw it over to our President and General Manager, Mark McCullers, at this time.
Thanks, Alex. I would also like to thank everybody for being here today and for your ongoing coverage and support of the Columbus Crew. It means a lot to us. We got some new faces in our media relations department with Alex and Tim. We're very excited about those new additions as well. The professionalism, the passion that they're bringing to their jobs, and how that relates to you doing your job. This is our 18th season of Crew Soccer in Columbus, and I want to take a minute to shout out to Dwight Burgess here in the audience, the best play-by-play television guy in Major League Soccer. He's been here since the beginning. So, Dwight, thanks for everything that you do for the club. It's our 15th season in Crew Stadium, and it's the 5th anniversary since our MLS Cup championship in 2008. So there's some meaningful numbers there, and we set a very aggressive agenda for 2013. In fact, we believe that this could be the most significant year in our club's history. The ingredients are there for some very substantial accomplishments to take place. We can continue our pursuit of Gold 10K. I can tell you that as of right now, we have surpassed 2012's total season ticket sales. So still early in the process as it relates to season ticket sales. Still plenty of opportunity for our staff to continue to sell. Our objective for 2013 is another aggressive increase of over 25% in our season ticket base. And that's going to put us in striking distance to achieve Gold 10K. We expect to host USA Mexico this year. It's not finalized and there's no public announcement, but that's one of the things that we put on board and said we need to do this. We need to make sure that we capture the most important soccer events taking place in the United States this year. and all that that's going to do for our organization, including Gold 10K. I believe that we could get a stadium naming partner for the first time in the history of this organization this year. We're having more conversations, more meaningful conversations. Talking to Jeff Bell a little bit earlier, you know, I classify it like this. There's introduction, presentation, evaluation, and negotiation. We're not in negotiation with anybody, but we have conversations going on in all of those other categories, and I believe that that's achievable this year. I believe that we can have a public-private partnership in place for a new training complex this year. The economy has started to percolate a little bit. There's developers with some activity. There's some ability to finance a project of this magnitude. So, you know, we're having some good conversations with some high-quality people in the market, and I believe that the training complex could be realized this year. Crew Juniors, I expect that we're going to have new local partnerships and new regional partnerships in Crew Juniors. We already have over 4,000 players participating in our Crew Juniors program, which was ranked number 7 in the nation in terms of youth clubs by Soccer America. And I believe that's the 3rd highest ranking of Major League Soccer clubs. So, as Brian alluded to, the player development, the homegrown players coming out of that program have already impacted our club, but I see substantial growth in Crew Juniors this year. The commercial value of our organization, with the increased season ticket base, we also expect increased attendance. We need to aggressively pursue, and are aggressively pursuing, increased television ratings. We are also looking to increase our grassroots assets, our youth soccer partnerships, our digital assets. We're in the top 5 last year in digital content, and TJ Ansley was recognized by the league as the top digital content editor in all of Major League Soccer last year. So the value of those assets we see increasing substantially. Premium sales is another objective. So suites, club seats, field seats, we expect to sell out the Center Circle Club this year. We sold out all of our field seats last year. We increased that inventory, and those will sell out again. And we have, I believe, only 3 or 4 suites remaining now in Crew Stadium. I know we sold another one today, Brent Zalowski, maybe in the room here. But we've sold 7 or 8 suites since the season concluded last year, which is a torrid pace, you know, and a very positive sign. I mentioned USA Mexico, but on the field, this team has the potential to win the Eastern Conference Championship, and we've put that in their sights. And what that means is that the road to MLS Cup comes through Columbus. And with the league's new policy of the highest seeded team hosting the MLS Cup, the opportunity to play MLS Cup here in front of our home market and our home fans is something that would be really remarkable and meaningful for this organization. All of these things would support a significant move towards profitability and our path to profitability. And our financial objective in this year is to eradicate over 50% of our net loss. And if we do these things that I've outlined, we will accomplish that, and that will be a very meaningful achievement for the organization. So we're bullish. You know, we feel like all of these are very aggressive but achievable objectives on behalf of the organization on and off the field.
Now for our
Would like to, excuse me, welcome everybody. Obviously, I hope we're gonna give you a lot to write and then talk about this season. That's our plan. Like I don't want to repeat Blessy and Mark. You know, we have a very high expectation. We have a group that is mixed between veterans and the young players. We have also a very good academy system. So looking forward for the good season. Obviously, every year, you know, when we put the goals together, we always one of them is win the championship, and then the other one make the playoffs. The other one is win the conference also. But like Mark said, this year is going to be very important because if you win your conference, then you have a very good chance to bring the championship game here in Columbus. We have the best crowds in Major League Soccer, so I think they deserve to have a championship game here in Columbus. Being in the last two games, one in Chivas, one in Portland, I think it was huge difference between these two games. When you have a little bit different crowds, you have almost full stadium in Vancouver, and you have half stadium at probably Chivas. That's why I think it's very important that we get a lot of support from everybody. I think when you go to 85th minute, 89th minute, when you obviously your legs are a little bit shaky, you need the fans to be as 12 players, and then that's why we're pushing ourselves to win the games, and we score so many goals lately in the end of the games because of the fans. So I'm looking for great support, and then hopefully we bring everybody to the championship game in Columbus.
This time we'll open up questions to the floor. When asking a question, please direct it to the individual on the panel that you'd like to have asked by. Who'd like to go first?
Hey, Robert. Anybody who knows how to coach a daughter or son, the conflicts of that relationship, how's it working out with you and Conrad as a professional?
We driving to practice separately, and then he's one of the players that we have on the team. So he's not going to be treated any different than any other player. So obviously he's good for. I would say as a father it's nice that the son playing professionally. But first and foremost, I'm a coach for the Columbus Crew, and then I'm going to do what's the best for the team. So he's a good player. I think whether he's going to make it or not we're going to see. But I think he's in a good environment, and then has a good chance to become one of the better players. So looking forward for the season.
Mark, in terms of the training center that you talked about, are you going to need a public entity to make this work financially for the team, or is it possible that you could find a private sector partner to make it work where you wouldn't have to go to the city of Columbus or Hilliard or whomever?
Yeah, the formula really requires three partnerships. It requires the crew and what we bring to the table, which is the Crew Juniors program, and by our conservative estimation, about 500,000 visitors per year. And youth soccer is a very tangible economic driver because those families stay in hotels and they eat at restaurants and they buy gas. So that's one part of the equation. The other part is a municipality that can provide us the infrastructure to capture some of the tax revenue off of that development and off of that new business to pay for the infrastructure for the other parts of the development. And in that infrastructure, we would include the soccer fields as part of that infrastructure. And then it requires the developer to have the vision and the land and the other components that are going to drive the commercial development and the incremental tax revenue to make it all work.
Cody.
Robert, during your tenure here, the Crew has the second best home record in the whole league during that span. You talk about the fans, but what is it that makes Crew Stadium such a fortress in the league?
I think like you said, the fans. That's first and foremost. I think they're supporting us all the way, and then, like I said before, in the end of the games, then we feel that support, and that's why pushing ourselves a little bit more. Obviously, when you set your goals before the season, we always said, you have to win the games at home because we know how difficult it is to win the games away from home. So I think we have to be mentally prepared, and I think that's what we did, for the last few years. So I'm very happy that we performing very well at home, and then in front of our fans, and then getting the points here. So we're looking forward for next season for this season to do the same, and then even win even more games than last year.
Ashley?
Robert, can you talk about the contributions and how some of the homegrown players have adapted so far, whether it's Ben Spies starting, in Vancouver, or Will Trapp, just how they are adapting to life as a professional?
I think, this is something that I'm very proud of, because, it's always, nice to have homegrown players, the players that grew up with watching the players from 10, 15 years ago, and then their dream was to play one day on the Crew Stadium. They are now with us and came through our system. So there's Ben, and then had some. He played last game also. He played last last game of the season. He did very well. So these players, obviously, growing up here in Columbus, being with the family, I think, if you are at home and you're happy, you can actually perform better. And then we talk about the other ones, whether it's Will Trapp and Matt Lamson. I think they have the best chance to become the very good players. And I think the environment that they are in right now with the Columbus Crew give them an advantage over that maybe the other players. And then, so I'm looking forward for this season. I'm looking forward for them to grow a little bit more as the players. They have, to be honest, a long way to go, but I think they're doing very well, and then hopefully we can see some of them on the field this year.
Please.
For Brian or maybe Coach Rob, I hate to bring up the I word, but injuries. How are your injuries for the upcoming match this week? And also, how do you train in this weather to avoid injuries?
I think we are very fortunate this year, compared to last year, where we had a lot of injuries. I mean, the only player that is right now, I think, not available for selection is Eddie Gavin. He got injured before the game against Vancouver, so he twisted his ankle, and well, he was jogging today, so we don't know whether he's going to be ready for Saturday or not, but hopefully he is. We're doing something different this year. We had correction exercises that we introduced this year for all the players, and we're doing this 15 minutes, 20 minutes prior to practice, where there's a locker room, like this morning because of the outside weather, or on the field if it's Florida or California. And then, so actually that pays off, because we don't have injuries. I mean, we don't have muscle-related injuries and anything else. So I think introducing this kind of exercises first time, I mean, we are very happy that what we're doing. Maybe we spend a little bit more time before practice, laying on the ground and do other stuff, but I think this pays off. And then weather like this, I mean, we are in Columbus, so we have to adjust to what we have, and I'm sure that there's going to be a few surprises even down the road, and who knows what's going to be on Saturday, but we would love to play in the nicer weather where it's 80 degrees or 70 degrees, but we have what we have, and then I think on behalf of the players, and I'm sure they're going to be ready for any single game that we're going to play, and whether it's weather like this, 30 degrees, or it's going to be 95 degrees. So attitude has to be right, and then we have to step on the field to win the games.
Obviously, the team's a little more in place at the beginning of the season this year. How does that change the preparation? How does that change your attitude towards going forward with the rest of the season to have the team closer to where you want at the beginning of this year?
I think we put ourselves in a situation that we can win some games. Remember last year before the season opener, we have probably 7 players that they were not necessarily injured or they're not available to play that game. Right now, we have a competition during the practice. I think we have everybody available. That makes practices more interesting. And then, everybody's fighting for a spot. Sometimes, you have, the players that are not going to be selected, obviously, they have the right to be disappointed. They should be disappointed. But, that's they're only going to push themselves next practice harder to win the spot. So like I said before, competition, that's what makes us better.
Robert, last game, 2 mistakes cost us the game. Now this Saturday, we're going to face Wondolowski, which is the most prolific striker in the MLS. How the defense is adjusting for this game?
Well, I think, you know, I hope we can learn from those mistakes. I mean, well, we lost the ball in the middle of the field and when they scored a first goal, but, you know, sometimes you have to take it out of your head because if a shot was from 38 yards, and then that was a pretty good shot. So, you know, as somebody that goes to the game and sit at the stands, and your team is playing at home, you want to see the goals like this. Too bad it happened against us, but that's you know, that's a beauty of the game. Goals like this. The second one is just the communication. I think we have to be communicating a little bit more. We have to make sure that we talk to each other and then learn from this. So I'm sure that Andy is never going to pass the ball again, you know, to Glauber or to Chavez, so the defender when he has somebody when he's not sure. I have to say that, you know, maybe I'm a little bit involved with this too because I like our players and defenders and the goalkeeper to be in the game and then pass the ball on the ground and build it out in the back. That's why Andy could have kicked that ball up the field and then. But you know, because we practiced that way, and then he didn't take a risk. He didn't take the risk. You know, he thought that, you know, he's going to make it, and Glauber knows that the guy's behind him. Maybe he playing back, and then we're going to go to the other side, and then that would be good play. But I hope we're going to learn from these mistakes, and we're not going to repeat it, you know, against San Jose and other teams. This is a nightmare for the coaches, mistakes like this, because, you know, it's something, you know, if the team scored a nice goal and then overlap, cross, and then, you know, it's a nice goal, you know, you're okay, that's, team did well. But the goals like this, you know, we have to make sure that we don't get scored on something like that again.